What's up? I'm Ben, and today we're talking about all of the Ruby cards from Into the Inklands. Why are we doing that? It's because we want to know what cards exist so we can brew the spicy decks. And we also want to remember the rules and stuff and talk about the meta from back in the day of Into the Inklands and talk about if I've seen these cards played. We're going to talk about all that here together at Ready, Set, Ink. Starting off with the Ariel card. This is the third card that ever had a flounder on it, and we love to see it. You can see that my mouse cursor's flounder, and this is flounder, and it's like they're kissing. No, stop that. Ariel, the adventurous collector, Dreamborn hero princess. It's got evasive. Evasive is pretty good, especially on a 3-cost card. Evasive is great. Inspiring voice when you play this song. Chosen character of yours gains evasive until the start of your next turn. So if you have a song, you can give somebody else evasive. Evasive is a good deal. You can give it to your Buckaroo and have him quest. You can give it to your John Silver and have your Prince John and have your Prince John quest. But why would you be playing red-green? That'd be a crazy combination. It's an alright card. It didn't see much play at all. I don't think I ever saw an opponent play it against me, and I played a whole lot of Lorcana Into the Inklands. Shipwrecks are a great place to find lore and hide from sharks. This is a direct thing from the anime when Ariel and Flounder are chilling in a big old boat, and then a big old shark comes and breaks into the boat. What does she have in her bag there? A map? A pocket watch? Is that White Rabbit's pocket watch? I think so, but that's just an opinion. It's time to talk about Billy Bones. This silly guy dies in the first 8 minutes of Treasure Planet, keeper of the map, and he doesn't have an owl chest here. But in the future cards, in Azurite Sea, this guy gets an owl chest. The foil's only 11 cents. Nobody wants the Billy Bones. The 5-cost 6/5 body is not good, especially when it only quests for 1 lore. Give this thing 2 lore. Billy Bones deserves better. Just kidding. He deserves way worse because he dies in the first 8 minutes of the film. He got the pirate keyword, which might be useful. He's after me chest, that fiendish cyborg and his band of cutthroats. He's talking about John Silver there, if you didn't know. The Captain Hook, this one is the Master Swordsman. This is one of the enchanters that I was lucky enough to pull. The 5/4 stat line is alright. It's not the best stat line, but it is pretty good. During your turn, whenever this character banishes another character in a challenge, ready this character, he can't quest for the rest of his turn. So you can keep challenging with Captain Hook, and that's a good deal because he's got 5 strength, and 5 strength can do a whole lot of damage to a whole lot of people, but it couldn't take out like Tamatoa, because Tamatoa is a 5/8, and if you challenge into Tamatoa, then I don't know. This is for taking out 2 characters. And then it says man-to-man. Characters named Peter Pan lose evasive and can't gain evasive. That's interesting because there's lots of Tinkerbell cards that give Peter Pan evasive. I think there's one that does that, so why am I saying lots? But the fact that he can't gain evasive after he's lost it is pretty cool. But it's only when this character is on the board. If this character goes off the board, boom, Peter Pan gets back his evasive and he's good to go. The Della Duck Unstoppable Mom. I have a whole bunch of miscut Della Ducks because I got a starter deck of Into the Inklands that was all miscut. She's got Reckless. The 3/3 stat line on a 2-cost body is great. Reckless character, Della Duck. Sign me up. I survived the moon. How tough could the flooded Inklands be? You're telling me Della Duck went to the moon? That's one anime I've got to watch. Hey, I like a lot. I think he's more valuable than we're leading on to. If he had a pirate keyword, I think he'd be just about perfect. It says once per turn when this character moves to a location, each opponent loses 1 lore. Ooh. Moving to a location can be done for free in a lot of ways right now. There's Tuk Tuk, there's Transport Pod, there's Rhea, the new super rare that lets you move characters and stuff when you put into an inkwell. Is that what's going on? I think so. Once per turn, when this character moves to a location, each opponent loses a lore. Having your opponent ruin their own math is a great deal. Considering the coconut, what are they talking about here? The coconut that they're in? This isn't from the movie. What is this all about? I like this. Hey. I like that he's an accidental explorer. I like his stat lines, the 3/2. It makes him not really want to be challenged because it can take out whatever it wants. It's a good deal for sure. Good. Hey. This is the Hydra. Hydra is underrated because when I see a Hydra in play, I'm like, oh gosh, I don't want to deal with that. Like, my only way to deal with this is we don't talk about Bruno, the 5-cost song card that can put a card back in their hand and have them discard a card. random card, the Deadly Serpent. It sure is. The 6/5 stat line is absolutely huge. Whenever this character is dealt damage, doesn't matter how it's dealt damage, if it's done by a spell, if it's done by a challenge, if it is done by a challenge that it self-initiates, then you're going to be able to deal that much damage to chosen opposing character. That's so sick. Hydra has a lot of stuff going for it. I've seen this played in a couple of Mufasa decks, and they've absolutely destroyed me when they hit this with Mufasa, because it quests for 2, so it can quest for 2, and then I'm not going to challenge it because it's got this crazy stat line that it can ping the damage to other ones of my characters. It might be one of the best cards in Lorcana that everybody's sleeping in. The Jim Hawkins has seen a little bit of resurgence, but not that much. Back in the Inklands, everybody was like, ooh, this is a good card. And it was used a lot to put the Queen's Castle into play, the Amethyst location that we got in this set. This is it. When you play this character, you may play a location with cost 4 or less for free. So it's not any location, which is a bad deal, because there's a couple of other locations that might be good, but cost more than 4. Is that a lie? Are there any locations that cost more than 4? I don't think so. Can you think of any before we get to the bottom of this? Type, location, cost 5. There is now one, Treasure Planet. There is only one location that Jim cannot put into play. It's called Treasure Mountain. The one that we got in Azerite Sea. It says at the start of your turn, deal damage to chosen character or location equal to the number of characters here. So that's the only location that Jim Hawkins cannot put into play. And we just got that. So before that, Jim could put any location into play, and it was good to go. But now he's slipping. We caught Jim slipping. The set we want to go to, set into the Inklands. Where were we? Right there. The third set. Pretty good, Jim. Could be better. It couldn't be better. Like, you get 10 ink of value when you play this card. It's really good. It's just that locations haven't popped off and made it like sing-song. But this is a whole lot of value that you get. Play 5 ink and you get basically 5 more ink for free when you play it. It's a whole lot of value on a single card. It's not a Floodborn, so you can't shift it, but we do have a little Jim target here to shift, and we did get a new shift target for Azerite Sea, a steel one. This Jim's got the 3/2 stat line, pretty good. It costs 2. It's got everything going for it that Hey Hey has going for it. The same cost, same willpower, same stat lines, but Hey Hey has a cool ability. But the Jim Hawkins gets the hero keyword. So what would you rather have? Would you rather have a Hey Hey that's going to make your opponent worry, or a Jim Hawkins that you can barely shift into? The Kakamora, look at those ropes. Wow. And look at all those darts going crisscross. The Menacing Sailor. When you play this character, each opponent loses 1 lore. It's a lot better than the other cards that have been having similar abilities, like ones that say, when you play this card, each opponent with more lore loses 1 lore. I think that's the Lady Tremaine that does that. If they have more lore, they lose lore. This one, just boom, they lose a lore, but they can't go to negative lore. So that's too bad. And sometimes you play this when they have 0 lore already. It's got the same stat lines, the 3/2, as the Jim, as the Hey Hey. It's the thing, the motif going on. This one's reversed. The Madame Medusa. People didn't think into the Inklands that this was better than Lady Tremaine, but turns out this is way better than Lady Tremaine. Though when you play this character, banish chosen opposing character with 3 strength or less, it gets rid of Beast Tragic Hero. It's so good. It just punishes you for playing any card, basically, because all of your good cards in Steel are like under-ish the 3 strength thing. There's so many good cards under 3 strength. And Madame Medusa punishes you for playing them. It's so good. Super rare. This card should be $1 billion because of how good it is. The Maui Hawk, Soaring Demigod. I got the hero deity keywords. The 5/2, so it doesn't survive a lot of challenges, but it can do some big damage. It's got Reckless, so it has to challenge if there is a character for it to challenge. And it's got the In My Belly ability. Whenever this character of yours is named Hey Hey Quest, this character gains +1 lore and loses Reckless this turn. So if you've got a Hey Hey, you can turn this guy into a big 1 quester. It's not the best. I think with a combo that expensive, it should be you gain 2 lore. But that's just my opinion. And this is back when stuff was in alphabetical order, and I loved it. Look at all this Maui's next to each other. Maui and Maui, Madame, who starts with an M. Too good. The Maui Hoyle. Mission is cursed. This character can't ready at the start of your turn. So if you want to ready it, too bad. You're not going to be able to. But you can if you pay 2 ink the I got your back ability. 2 ink, ready this character. He can't quest for the rest of this turn. But you know what he can do? He can swing. This guy can challenge, do the damage, a massive 8 damage. This thing can take out a Tamatoa, ready itself again, and then take out another Tamatoa. This is the Tamatoa taker outer, always ready to make a big splash. You can challenge with this as many times as you can ready it. That's a good deal. We like the whale, but you won't really ever be able to quest it, because if you use the ability to ready it, you're not going to be able to quest it. But if you use your ability to ready it before your turn's over and leave it unexerted, if you leave it ready, you're going to be good to quest it next turn, which is a weird choice, but you do you. Milo Thatch, this is the red one. Last week we talked about the green one. The Spirited Scholar. The 2/2/2 stat line is okay. Usually we see a 1/2/2 stat line. This one is at the I'm Your Man ability. While this character is at a location, he gets +2 strength. Like if he's at Atlantis, maybe. Moana is a Floodborn, and this isn't the best Moana Floodborn. We also got a new Moana Floodborn in Azurite Sea. This one has the Shift 3. Pretty good. Can quest for 2. Makes your Moanas be able to quest. The surprise extra lore is always good. And says whenever this character quests while at a location, ready all other characters here. They can't quest for the rest of the turn, but they sure can challenge. And she's almost hitting the dab. And I like that. You remember the dab? Huh? You remember 2014? Dabbing? Moana, this one has evasive in the 3/4 stat line. Huge. You can challenge a lot of stuff and take out other evasive characters. She's fighting the Kakamora. You know what she's doing. The Nutsy, Vulture's henchman. Vulture henchman. He's a vulture and he's a henchman. Nutsy. Vulture henchman. He works for Sheriff of Nottingham. He's on the wall of Nottingham. Or is he on the wall? You know the one, the location. 2/3 stat line, not the best. But if you like playing a Robin Hood themed deck, Nutsy is the bro. Nutsy, button your break. Why did I say break? Nutsy, button your beak. Says Tigger. Says Trigger. The Peter Pan, this one's got Rush, but it doesn't got evasive. But who's that right there? Is that Tinkerbell or is that Goku on Flying Nimbus? The over here team, when you have a character named Tinkerbell in play, this character gets +2 strength. So it can go to a 3/3 for 3. That is the perfect stat line, and it can quest for 2, and it has Rush. This is a good card if you're playing a fairies deck in red. There's no fairies decks in red. This is the Peter Pan that got an enchanted, and if you didn't know, there's also a bracketed air. This one actually shows the bracketed air there. If it has the bracket and then a period and then a parentheses, this is the more expensive enchanted that you want to get. It says it has evasive. You could shift it for 4 evasive, and then it has whenever he challenges a pirate character. This character takes no damage from the challenge. Pretty good, especially with the amount of pirates that we are seeing in play right now. But are you really going to want to play him to counter a pirate deck? The Prince Eric, underrated. You play this in a Mufasa deck and you are set. This thing is always a pain because usually it's going to take out 2 characters. It has whenever this character is banished, you may banish chosen characters. So not only can it do 2 damage to somebody with a challenge, but if it's banished, it can banish whoever it wants to banish. It can even be one of your own characters if you're crazy. The storm came out of nowhere, forcing Eric to turn back before he reached the mysterious structure at the edge of Lorcana. What mysterious structure was he talking about? Is he talking about Ursula's Lair? Or is he talking about Owl Island? Who? He quests for 2 also. So you're going to give them a target to attack. And if you use somebody like Lyle Tiberius Rourke to give a Reckless to somebody, they're going to have to challenge into Eric. There's so many wombo combos to do with Eric. I've seen it played in Mufasa decks, and I have been scared of it. The Scroop is a backstabber, and he's a no-good dude. He kills Mr. Arrow, and it's a bad deal. He cuts the lifeline for Mr. Arrow. Mr. Arrow's off here somewhere with a lifeline, and Jim tied the knot over here. And Jim's like, oh, no, Mr. Arrow went into the black hole because I didn't tie the knot too bad. But it was Scroop. It's all Scroop's fault. The storyboard villain, alien, pirate. Yeah, you're darn right. He's got that villain keyword because he's a big old jerk. While this character has damage, he gets +3 strength. He's part of John Silver's crew, and he's no good in my book. But he can be a 5/5 for 5 in quest for 2. Kind of good. And you can damage this thing with the new Scar that does the Teeth and Ambitions ability on play that you do two damage to chosen character. So you would do 2 damage to this, and then it would go to a 5/3. That's pretty good. Like, it would have 3 willpower left. This is the Simba. Super aggro. Can shift into other Simbas. The steel one particularly. Or the new amber one. The pride protector. That one. He'll join the hunt for lore. After he's had a quick little snack, he's going to eat the little grub and then quest for 3 lore. The 1/1 stat line is all right because you're playing this thing down on 2 and you're questing for 3. And then you can play this way late in the game and then quest for 3. If they don't have removal, you're set to gain a whole bunch of lore. This slightly is one of the Lost Boys, just like Toodles and Cubby. He's part of that gang of characters. The Fox, if you have a character named Peter Pan in play, you pay 1 less to play this character. So you could pay 3. But if you have 2 Peter Pans in play, you still pay 3. If you have a character named Peter Pan in play, you pay 1 less to play this character. Do you still pay 3? I think so. It doesn't happen multiple times. Or does it? Slightly is evasive, the 4/3 that you could almost play for 3 or for less if you have multiple Peter Pans in play. That's a great question. Why don't I know the answer to that? If you have a character named Peter Pan in play, you pay 1 less to play this character. It just happens once. Even if you have 2 Peter Pans in play, this effect just happens once. It doesn't check and then check and then check. It just checks once, right? Because it's in play, like it's from your hand. So it's not going to check a bunch while it's in your hand. Is that how Mickey Mouse Broom is worded? So this one I know affects multiple. It says you pay 1 less to play Broom characters. It's just that easy. But you have to have it on the board because it's a triggered ability. You pay 1 less to play Broom characters. And this one's that if you have a character named Peter Pan in play, you pay 1 less to play this character. I think this ability only checks once. So you'd only ever be able to play this for 3. Pirates are sure easy to trick. Is he calling me a pirate? Is that what's going on? This Stitch isn't a pirate, but he sure does have the alien keyword. I combined hero and alien instead of Helion. Rush, the 3/1 with Rush, takes out whoever you want to take out, but it doesn't have evasive. So maybe not the best. This one got a playmat, right? It's a cute one. Who thought giving him power armor was a good idea? That's what I'd like to know. The trigger, this one pairs with the Nutsy, but not really because they don't synergize. They do synergize. Your character name's Nutsy gets +1 more, so it can give this one to quest for 2, and that's a good deal. With the trigger, not so sharp shooter. The 3/1 stat line, I don't know. Like, they're setting each other up for a wombo combo. But is it a good wombo combo? The Webby Vanderquack is the enthusiastic duck. Finding lore is a lot easier if you have a grappling hook. I'd much rather have that over this, but this is evasive. I don't know. I like the Webby. She's not too bad, especially in a Into the Inklands draft. Like if you pull her in your like Chaos draft or whatever, like it's going to be okay. The 3/4 stat line is pretty good, and that's all the characters that we're going to talk about. Now on to the actions. We got the dive bomb action. Banish one of your characters with Reckless to banish chosen character with less strength than that character. I think this costs too much to be useful in a Reckless deck because the use of the Reckless characters, I don't know, it gets around like ready characters. Like if they have a ready character, then you could do it. Then it's like a Dragonfire for 3, but you have to sacrifice one of your own. It's a bad deal altogether. The I've Got a Dream Sing Together song. It's not a Sing Together. It's just a 2-cost song. Why was I thinking it's a Sing Together song? We didn't get that until Ursula's return. Ready chosen character of yours at a location. They can't quest for the rest of this turn. Gain lore equal to that location's lore. Convoluted. A whole lot of stuff going on. They get to get readied and then get sing again and stuff. But I don't know. It's a whole lot to do a whole little. The On Your Feet Now action card. You know how like you kind of cup your hand to like yell so it gets projected further? And the idea is that it like reverberates off your hands. Hook's doing that here, but like it's not going to reverberate because he has a hook. You ready all your characters and deal 1 damage to each of them. They can't quest for the rest of this turn. It's useful with cards like Wreck-It Ralph that want damage on them, and then when they're ready, then they get lore for the stuff, and then stuff that needs damage like the Scroop. This could help out Scroop. It's a pretty good use case. This fits in a lot of good like theme decks in order to challenge more. I like it. It's not the worst. Voyage is a 1-cost action that says move up to 2 characters yours to the same location for free. This is great with the Sugar Rush Speedway. This is so good. This is the wombo combo that you need to watch out for. This is going to make a comeback. I guarantee it. It's a good card. I like it a lot. Maui's Fishhook, also underrated. One of the best rare items in the entire game. This has the Fishbone Quill type vibes. It says if you have a Maui character in play, you may use the Shapeshift ability for free, so you don't have to pay the 2 ink. But if you don't have Maui in play, then you got to pay 2 ink, and then you get to choose one of these two. Either chosen character gains evasive until the start of your next turn, so you could use that to take out other evasive characters, or you can use that to just be safe and not be challenged next turn because your opponent doesn't have evasives. Or you could give chosen character gets +3 strength this turn. That's a whole lot of strength to be able to one-shot McDuck Manor if you have a Maui on board. Boom, use this, get your extra strength. Take out McDuck Manor, which has 9 willpower, all in one foul swoop. Maui's Fishhook, underrated. I like it a lot. It's a good use case. Sumerian Talisman is an item that says during your turn, whenever one of your characters is banished and challenged, you may draw a card. So it's only during your turn, which is a bummer. If this was all the time, I think this would be very well, good playable, but it's not. And this works with Lena Saberwing, I guess. Summon spirits from the dark. Show thyself before this arc, says Lena Saberwing. What's going on there? I need to watch that anime. Agrabah is a very aggro location. It gets 2 lore if you play it down. The 1 cost to move there, but why would you want to move there? You don't want to. But all locations have a move cost. The 5 willpower means that it dies to Maui in 1 shot, but you play it down for 3 and hopefully you get your 2 lore for it. But it is a very easy target to take out. Welcome to Agrabah City, the city of mystery and enchantment, at the finest merchandise at this side of the river. And then the RLS Legacy, the last card that we need to talk about, got an enchanted card, the 3/8 stat line, the card that's supposed to work the best with Jim Hawkins because they're from the same franchise. This is our ship. Characters gain evasive while here, so you can give your Jim Hawkins evasive if he moves here or anything else. And then if you already have a character in here, say if you play Jim Hawkins and he moves there for free with his on-play ability, if you have a character here, you pay 2 less to move a character of yours here. So it goes to a 1 cost to give anybody you want evasive. And it gets 2 lore. And it's 8 willpower, so it's really hard to take out. It's a wombo combo. For sure, we got 3 enchantments in the set. The Hook, the Peter Pan, and the RLS Legacy. The one that you want is to get the Peter Pan because it has the bracket air on some of them. Thanks for watching. We put out new videos every day. And remember to ready, set, ink. Because if you ready, set, draw, then you're going second. And going second is not good.